We'll start with the identification tag on the side. Here you'll find the manufacturer, date it was manufactured, your VIN number, you have tire sizes and pressures, and some governor weights. Tire chart on the left, sizes and pressures, and in the yellow you have your VIN number and you have cargo weights. Up front, your battery. These aren't maintenance-free batteries. You may have to add water to them at some point. If you're not going to be using your unit for a while, I would disconnect it. There is a bit of a power drain coming from your stereo, carbon monoxide detector and whatnot. And for winter, I would pull it out and put it somewhere warm. Two 20-pound propane tanks up front, selector in the middle, arrow points to which tank you want to be supplying. You have a power jack, on and off switch for light and up and down. Also is a fuse, inline fuse here. If you ever decide it's not working, that would be the first thing to look. Your breakaway cable on this here. One thing to note with these is if your battery's hooked up and if the key gets pulled out, it does activate your brakes, and it can do damage if it's left out for a long time. So that's one thing to kind of keep an eye on. Next to that, there's a little plug-in for a solar panel. If you ever in the future ever want to hook up a solar panel, you can hook it up to there. Little light on the front, cubby hole, a couple cranks on the other side. We'll look at those when we get over there. Stabilizer jacks, there's one on each corner, all four corners. With these, they're not meant to be leveling your camper with. They're just good for stabilizing. So when you crank them down, all you really want to do is just put pressure down so your trailer doesn't rock. We've had people crank them until they bend, trying to level, but that's not what they're meant for. So just take note of that. Your furnace, intake and exhaust. It gets really hot there, so don't store anything in front of it. Your freshwater fill here, and your freshwater drain is underneath. You have city water connection. If your campground has water supplied to you right at your campground, you can just hook your garden hose there. On your wheels, the little rubber garment pulls out. There is grease nipples in behind, so you can grease your wheel bearings. I do recommend doing that once a year. Give it 3-5 pumps of grease. But if you are putting lots of miles on, I do recommend getting them repacked. There's a vent for your range above your stove. The little flapper is held in place with little clips here. So if you want to be using it for exhausting, you have to undo the clips. Power cord in here, 30 amp. Fridge vent, that is there. You don't have to go in there. All the controls are on the inside. So that's just what that is. Hot water heater. All the controls on the hot water heater are also inside. These are natural gas, propane and 110 electric. The only thing you really need to know back here is your drain. So that's your drain right there. Very important when you go to winterize that you drain your hot water heater, or it will be cracked by spring. Underneath here is your sewer dump. You have your gray valve for your gray water and black for your black tank. They are labeled up top. There. There's also low point drains here. You only have to worry about these come fall. After you winterize, you can open these up. It'll just drain the last little bit of water that is left in there. satellite cable input, so that's the input going into the camper. Another stabilizer jack there. Your sewer hose is in your bumper. There. Spare tires mounted at the back. Up there, just underneath your clearance lights, mount for a backup camera. These units are pre-wired for backup cameras, so in the future, if you do decide to go that route, it's super easy to do. You've got a shower with hot and cold. This here is your black tank flush. If you are going to be flushing your tank, just make sure that you have your black valve open, or else it will fill up, or it won't be good. Make a big mess. And another stabilizer jack down there. You got a storage area here. Your power awning. There are speakers in this. You got LED lighting underneath. Power outlet here. Satellite TV output. If you want to mount a TV outside here, this is where you'd hook it up. And this is a mount for TV bracket. This is your entrance door here. And another stabilizer jack. So here's your cranks. The little one is for your power jack. If it ever happens that it doesn't work, or if you have no power, you can take the rubber cap off, put that little crank in there, and you can manually crank it up or down. And then the big crank here in the plastic bag for your stabilizer jacks. There. All right, let's move on inside.